Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pop Magic, where we dive deep into the magical worlds of your favorite books. Today, we're exploring J.K. Rowling's enchanting novel, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone. Chapter 1: The Boy Who Lived. The story begins on a quiet street in the perfectly ordinary neighborhood of Privet Drive, where the Dursley family lives. Vernon Dursley, the father of the household, works at Grunnings, a drill-making company. He is a large, beefy man with hardly any neck but a large mustache. His wife, Petunia, is thin and blonde with a very long neck, which she uses to spy on the neighbors. They have a son named Dudley, who is a spoiled and overindulged child. One fateful day, Vernon Dursley notices several unusual occurrences as he goes about his mundane routine. He sees a cat reading a map and later sitting and staring at the corner of Privet Drive. This cat seems strangely intelligent and out of place. Throughout the day, he also sees people in strange clothes celebrating and hears whisperings about something called the Potters and their son Harry. Vernon is thoroughly confused and concerned, but he tries to dismiss these strange events as mere coincidences. However, his unease grows when he overhears a conversation between two oddly dressed individuals who mention the downfall of someone named Voldemort and the survival of Harry Potter. That night, after the Dursleys go to bed, a tall, bearded man named Albus Dumbledore appears on Privet Drive. Dumbledore is the headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. He meets the cat that Vernon had seen earlier, which transforms into Professor McGonagall, a stern witch who teaches at Hogwarts. Professor McGonagall expresses her concern about leaving Harry Potter with the Dursleys, but Dumbledore insists that it is the safest place for him. As they talk, Hagrid, a giant of a man with wild hair and a bushy beard, arrives on a flying motorcycle, carrying a bundle in his arms. The bundle is the baby Harry Potter, who survived an attack by the dark wizard Voldemort. Dumbledore explains that Harry's parents, James and Lily Potter, were killed by Voldemort, but Harry miraculously survived, leaving him with a lightning-shaped scar on his forehead. Dumbledore leaves a letter for the Dursleys, explaining the situation and Harry's true identity. With heavy hearts, they place Harry on the doorstep of number 4, Privet Drive, knowing that this will be the beginning of a challenging but necessary journey for him. Chapter 2: The Vanishing Glass. 10 years have passed since the events of that fateful night, and Harry Potter is now living a miserable life with the Dursleys at number 4, Privet Drive. The Dursleys, consisting of Uncle Vernon and Petunia, and their spoiled son Dudley, treat Harry with cruelty and neglect. Harry is forced to live in a cupboard under the stairs, which is cramped and filled with spiders. It's a typical morning in the Dursley household. Harry is awakened by Aunt Petunia's shrill voice, telling him to get up and make breakfast. As he prepares the breakfast, Harry is seen having a miserable time, and the Dursleys treat him as an unwelcome burden. Dudley, Harry's cousin, is a large, spoiled boy who takes pleasure in bullying Harry. It's Dudley's birthday, and the Dursleys are preparing to take Dudley and his friend Piers Polkiss to the zoo. Dudley throws a tantrum when he discovers he has only 36 birthday presents, compared to the previous year's 37. To calm him down, Aunt Petunia promises to buy him 2 more presents while they are out. Uncle Vernon plans to leave Harry with their neighbor, Mrs. Fig, while they go to the zoo. However, Mrs. Fig calls to inform them that she has broken her leg and cannot take Harry. With no other option, the Dursleys reluctantly decide to take Harry to the zoo with them, but they warn him to behave and not cause any trouble. At the zoo, the Dursleys treat Harry poorly, giving him only a small ice cream cone while Dudley and Piers get larger ones. The group visits the reptile house, where Dudley and Piers are fascinated by a large boa constrictor behind the glass. Dudley bangs on the glass, trying to get the snake to move, but it remains motionless. As Harry watches the snake, he feels a strange connection to it and is surprised when the snake seems to acknowledge him by blinking. Dudley pushes Harry aside to get a better look, and in his frustration, Harry wishes that Dudley would just leave him alone. Suddenly, the glass of the snake enclosure vanishes, and the boa constrictor slithers out, causing panic among the zoo visitors. Harry is shocked and confused by what has happened. The boa constrictor, seemingly grateful, hisses thanks amigo to Harry before making its escape. Dudley and Piers scream in terror, and Uncle Vernon is furious, blaming Harry for the incident. The Dursleys quickly leave the zoo and return home. Once home, Harry is locked in his cupboard as punishment, and the Dursleys refuse to believe his protest that the glass vanished on its own. Harry reflects on the strange incidents that have occurred throughout his life, such as his hair growing back overnight after a bad haircut and his accidental teleportation to the school roof while being chased by bullies. Despite the Dursleys' harsh treatment, Harry's spirits are momentarily lifted by the mysterious occurrences, which hint at his magical abilities. He wonders if there is something special about him, even though the Dursleys insist that he is worthless. Chapter 3. The Letters from No One. Harry's life is returning to its usual dreary routine after the zoo incident. Harry is still living in the cupboard under the stairs and continues to endure the Dursleys' mistreatment. Dudley, on the other hand, remains spoiled and pampered by his parents. One morning, as Harry is preparing to go to school, he receives a letter addressed to him. This is a rare occurrence, as Harry has never received any mail before. The letter is written in green ink on thick parchment and addressed specifically to Mr. H. Potter, the cupboard under the stairs, for Privet Drive, Little Whinging, Surrey. Harry is astonished and curious about the letter, but before he can open it, Dudley snatches it from him. Uncle Vernon takes the letter from Dudley and becomes furious when he reads it. He prevents Harry from seeing the letter and quickly destroys it. However, the next day, another letter arrives, this time addressed to Mr. H. Potter, the smallest bedroom, 4 Privet Drive, Little Whinging, Surrey. Uncle Vernon is once again enraged and confiscates the letter before Harry can read it. In an attempt to stop the letters from coming, Uncle Vernon moves Harry from the cupboard under the stairs to Dudley's second bedroom, which is filled with broken toys and old furniture. Despite this change, the letters keep arriving, each one addressed more precisely to Harry's current location within the house. The Dursleys become increasingly frantic as they try to prevent Harry from reading any of the letters. Uncle Vernon resorts to extreme measures, such as boarding up the letterbox and nailing shut the windows, but the letters continue to find their way into the house through various means, including the chimney. The situation reaches a breaking point when dozens of letters come flying through every possible opening in the house, overwhelming the Dursleys. Determined to escape the letters, Uncle Vernon decides to take the entire family on a trip to a remote location. He drives them to a desolate house on a small island, accessible only by boat. The weather is stormy, and the house is in a state of disrepair, but Uncle Vernon believes that this isolated location will finally stop the letters from reaching Harry. As they settle into the cold, damp house, Harry lies awake on the floor, counting down the minutes until his 11th birthday. Just as the clock strikes midnight, there is a loud knock on the door, signaling the arrival of a visitor who will change Harry's life forever. Chapter 4. The Keeper of the Keys. There's a loud, thunderous knock on the door of the desolate house on the island where the Dursleys and Harry have sought refuge. The Dursleys are terrified, and Uncle Vernon attempts to hold the door closed. However, the door is forcefully pushed open, and a giant of a man enters, causing the Dursleys to cower in fear. The giant man is Rubeus Hagrid, the keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Hagrid is described as a towering figure with wild hair, a bushy beard, and a warm, friendly demeanor. He is immediately enraged when he sees the state Harry is in and learns that Harry has been living in a cupboard under the stairs. Hagrid scolds the Dursleys for their mistreatment of Harry and demands an explanation. Hagrid then turns his attention to Harry and warmly wishes him a happy birthday, handing him a large, homemade cake with the words "Happy Birthday, Harry" written on it in green icing. Harry is both amazed and bewildered by the appearance of this giant man and the birthday cake. Hagrid proceeds to tell Harry the truth about his parents and his own identity. He reveals that Harry is a wizard and has been accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Harry is astonished and struggles to process this information, as it contradicts everything the Dursleys have told him about his background. Hagrid explains that Harry's parents, James and Lily Potter, were also wizards and were well known in the magical community. He tells Harry about the dark wizard Voldemort, who killed Harry's parents but was unable to kill Harry. Instead, Voldemort's curse backfired, leaving Harry with his iconic lightning-shaped scar and marking the end of Voldemort's reign of terror. Uncle Vernon tries to intervene, insisting that Harry will not be going to Hogwarts. He reveals his deep-seated hatred for anything magical and expresses his belief that Harry should be kept away from the wizarding world. Hagrid becomes furious with Uncle Vernon and in a fit of anger, uses magic to give Dudley a pig's tail, which frightens the Dursleys even more. Hagrid then gives Harry his letter of acceptance to Hogwarts, detailing the list of required supplies and instructions for the new school year. Harry is both excited and overwhelmed by the sudden revelation of his true identity and the prospect of attending a magical school. Before leaving, Hagrid mentions that he will take Harry shopping for his school supplies in Diagon Alley. Harry begins to feel a mixture of excitement and apprehension about the new life that awaits him. He's eager to learn more about his parents, his own magical abilities, and the mysterious world of Hogwarts. Chapter 5, Diagon Alley. Harry wakes up the morning after meeting Hagrid. He is initially unsure whether the events of the previous night were real or just a dream, but when he sees Hagrid's large coat draped over a chair and the birthday cake Hagrid gave him, he realizes it was all true. Hagrid takes Harry to the mainland using the boat the Dursleys had used to reach the island. They head to London to buy Harry's school supplies for Hogwarts. Their first stop is the Leaky Cauldron, a hidden pub that serves as the gateway between the non-magical world and the wizarding world. Harry is amazed by the sight of the pub and the magical people inside it. As they enter the Leaky Cauldron, Harry is greeted with warmth and excitement by the patrons, who recognize him as the famous boy who lived. Harry meets several witches and wizards, including Daedalus Diggle and Doris Crockford, who are eager to shake his hand and congratulate him. Harry is overwhelmed by the attention, but is also intrigued by the magical world he is becoming a part of. Hagrid introduces Harry to Tom, the innkeeper, and they proceed to the back of the pub. There, Hagrid taps specific bricks on a wall, which magically opens to reveal the entrance to Diagon Alley, a bustling street filled with magical shops and vendors. Harry is awestruck by the sights and sounds of Diagon Alley, with its array of magical items, creatures, and bustling crowd. Their first stop is Gringotts, the wizarding bank run by goblins. Hagrid explains that the goblins are known for their skill with money and their fiercely guarded vaults. Harry is both nervous and excited as they enter the grand marble building. Inside, they meet a goblin named Griphook, who escorts them to Harry's vault. Harry is amazed to discover a large pile of gold, silver, and bronze coins left to him by his parents. Hagrid also visits a separate vault to retrieve a small, mysterious package for Professor Dumbledore. With money in hand, Harry and Hagrid set out to buy Harry's school supplies. They purchase his robes from Madame Malkin's robes for all occasions, where Harry meets a pale, drawling boy who will later be revealed as Draco Malfoy. Although their interaction is brief, Harry gets a sense of the boy's arrogance and sense of superiority. Hagrid takes Harry to buy his books from Flourish and Blotts, where Harry picks up a copy of Hogwarts, a history, and other required texts. They also visit the apothecary to purchase potion ingredients and Elop's Owl Emporium, where Hagrid buys Harry a snowy owl named Hedwig as a birthday present. The final stop on their shopping trip is Ollivander's, the wand shop. Mr. Ollivander, the shopkeeper, is an enigmatic figure with an extensive knowledge of wands. He helps Harry find the wand that is meant for him. After trying several wands with no success, Harry finally finds the right wand, a holly and phoenix feather wand that is 12 inches long. Mr. Ollivander reveals that the wand's core is made from a feather of the same phoenix whose feather is in Voldemort's wand, creating a mysterious connection between the two wands. As they leave Diagon Alley, Harry is filled with a sense of wonder and excitement about the magical world he is about to enter. Before parting ways, Hagrid gives Harry his train ticket and a heartfelt farewell. Harry feels a mix of emotions, anticipation for the adventures that await him at Hogwarts and gratitude for Hagrid's kindness and support. Harry's journey into the wizarding world has just begun, and he is eager to learn more about his parents, his magical abilities, and the mysteries of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Chapter 6, The Journey from Platform 9 3/4. Harry is preparing to leave for Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. After spending a few weeks with the Dursleys, Harry is both excited and nervous about starting his new life at the magical school. Hagrid has provided Harry with his train ticket, which instructs him to board the Hogwarts Express from Platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross Station. On the day of his departure, Uncle Vernon begrudgingly agrees to drive Harry to King's Cross Station. The Dursleys mock Harry, telling him there is no such thing as Platform 9 3/4, and leave him alone at the station with his heavy trunk and his new owl Hedwig. Harry is bewildered and anxious as he looks for the elusive platform. As Harry struggles to find Platform 9 3/4, he overhears a group of red-headed people talking about wizards and Hogwarts. He approaches them and learns that they are the Weasley family. Molly Weasley, the mother, kindly helps Harry by showing him how to access the platform. She instructs him to run straight at the barrier between platforms 9 and 10. With a mixture of apprehension and determination, Harry follows her advice and successfully passes through the barrier, finding himself on platform 9 3/4, where the Hogwarts Express awaits. Relieved and excited, Harry boards the train and finds an empty compartment. As the train begins its journey, he watches the Muggle world fade away and feels a sense of freedom and anticipation. Soon, Harry is joined by Ron Weasley, one of the red-headed boys he saw with Mrs. Weasley. Ron is friendly and outgoing, and the two boys quickly strike up a conversation. Ron comes from a large wizarding family with many siblings and shares stories about his brothers, including Bill, Charlie, Percy, Fred, George, and Ginny. He also explains the intricacies of the wizarding world to Harry, who is eager to learn. Ron feels self-conscious about his family's financial struggles and his hand-me-down possessions, but Harry reassures him that it doesn't matter. As they chat, a woman named the Trolley, which arrives with a cart filled with magical sweets and snacks. Harry, who has never had pocket money before, is thrilled to buy an assortment of treats, including chocolate frogs, Bertie Bott's every flavor beans, pumpkin pasties, and more. He shares his bounty with Ron, and they bond over their shared love of sweets. During their journey, Harry and Ron are visited by several other students, including Hermione Granger and Neville Longbottom. Hermione is an intelligent and enthusiastic girl who seems to know a lot about magic, despite being Muggle-born. She helps Neville, a forgetful boy, search for his lost toad, Trevor. Although Hermione comes across as a bit bossy, Harry and Ron are impressed by her knowledge and determination. The train ride is filled with excitement and new friendships as Harry begins to feel more at home in the wizarding world. As the Hogwarts Express approaches its destination, the students change into their school robes and prepare to disembark. When the train arrives at Hogsmeade Station, the students are greeted by Hagrid, who calls for the first-year students to follow him. The group makes their way to a fleet of small boats that will carry them across the lake to Hogwarts. As they sail across the dark water, the students catch their first glimpse of the magnificent castle, its windows glowing in the night. Harry feels a mixture of awe and anticipation as he approaches the castle that will become his new home. He is filled with wonder and excitement about the adventures and challenges that await him at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Chapter 7: The Sorting Hat. The first-year students arrive at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. As they disembark from the boats and step onto the shore, Hagrid leads them to the massive front doors of the castle. The students are filled with a mixture of excitement and nervousness as they take in the grandeur of their new home. The first-year students are greeted by Professor McGonagall, the deputy headmistress, who is stern and authoritative. She explains that before they can join their fellow students, they must first be sorted into one of the 4 Hogwarts houses: Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin. Each house has its own unique characteristics, and their house will be like their family at Hogwarts. The sorting ceremony will determine which house they belong to, and it is a significant moment in their magical education. Professor McGonagall leads the first years into the Great Hall, a magnificent room with a ceiling enchanted to look like the night sky. The hall is filled with the older students, who are seated at 4 long tables representing their respective houses. At the front of the hall is a 5th table where the teachers are seated, including Headmaster Albus Dumbledore. The sorting hat, an old and frayed wizard's hat, is placed on a stool in front of the students. The hat comes to life and begins to sing a song about the 4 houses and their founders: Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. The song explains the qualities that each house values, such as bravery in Gryffindor, loyalty in Hufflepuff, intelligence in Ravenclaw, and ambition in Slytherin. One by one, the first-year students are called forward to be sorted. They sit on the stool, and the sorting hat is placed on their head. The hat takes a moment to consider their qualities before announcing the house they belong to. Some students are sorted quickly, while others take longer. Harry is anxious about his own sorting, having heard various things about each house. When his name is called, he steps forward and sits on the stool, feeling the eyes of the entire school upon him. The sorting hat is placed on his head, and Harry hears a small voice in his ear. The hat deliberates for a moment, noting that Harry has courage and talent, but also a thirst to prove himself. The hat suggests Slytherin, which makes Harry uneasy. He silently wishes not to be placed in Slytherin, and the hat finally declares Gryffindor. Harry joins the Gryffindor table, where he is warmly welcomed by his new housemates. He is relieved to be sorted into Gryffindor, where he is reunited with Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, who are also sorted into Gryffindor. The sorting ceremony continues, with students like Neville Longbottom being sorted into Gryffindor and Draco Malfoy being placed in Slytherin. After the sorting ceremony, Dumbledore stands to address the students and welcomes them to a new school year. He gives a few announcements and warns them about the dangers of certain areas of the castle, such as the Forbidden Forest and a specific corridor on the third floor. His speech is both welcoming and cautionary, setting the tone for the school year. The welcome feast begins, and the tables are suddenly filled with an abundance of delicious food. Harry is amazed by the magical feast and enjoys the company of his new friends. He meets other Gryffindor students, including Percy Weasley, who is a prefect, and the mischievous twins Fred and George Weasley. Throughout the meal, Harry feels a sense of belonging and excitement about his new life at Hogwarts. Then the students are led to their respective dormitories by their house prefects. Harry and the other Gryffindor first years are shown to their common room, a cozy and welcoming space filled with armchairs and a roaring fire. The boys are led to their dormitory, where they find their four-poster beds waiting for them. As Harry settles into bed, he reflects on the day's events and the incredible journey he has embarked on. He drifts off to sleep, feeling happy and hopeful about the future and the adventures that await him at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Chapter 8: The Potions Master. Harry starts adjusting to his new life at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The castle is filled with enchantments, and Harry is in awe of the moving staircases, the portraits that talk and move, and the enchanted ceiling of the Great Hall that mirrors the sky outside. Harry's days are now filled with magical classes, and he is eager to learn everything he can about the wizarding world. Along with his friends Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, Harry attends various lessons, including Transfiguration with Professor McGonagall, Charms with Professor Flitwick, Herbology with Professor Sprout, and Defense Against the Dark Arts with Professor Quirrell. Each class offers a new and fascinating experience for Harry. However, Harry's excitement is tempered by his encounters with Professor Snape, the Potions Master. During their first potions lesson in the dungeons, Snape makes it clear that he dislikes Harry. He singles Harry out, asking him difficult questions about potion ingredients and processes, which Harry, being new to the wizarding world, cannot answer. Hermione, who has diligently read all her schoolbooks before arriving at Hogwarts, eagerly raises her hand to answer, but Snape ignores her. Harry feels humiliated and confused by Snape's hostility. Snape's attitude towards Harry only worsens when Draco Malfoy, a Slytherin student who already has a rivalry with Harry, intentionally causes a distraction in the potions class. Snape unfairly blames Harry for the disruption, further souring Harry's feelings towards the Potions Master. Outside of classes, Harry explores Hogwarts with Ron. Harry and Ron also spend time with Hagrid, who lives in a small hut on the edge of the Forbidden Forest. Hagrid becomes a trusted friend and confidant, sharing stories about the magical creatures he cares for. Then there's Peeves, the mischievous poltergeist who delights in causing chaos and trouble for the students and staff. Peeves enjoys playing pranks, and he often targets Harry and his friends, adding an element of unpredictability to their daily lives at Hogwarts. As Harry navigates his new life at Hogwarts, he becomes increasingly curious about the mysterious package that Hagrid retrieved from Gringotts. He learns that the package is related to the Philosopher's Stone, a magical object that grants immortality. This discovery sparks Harry's curiosity and sets the stage for future adventures and challenges. Chapter 9: The Midnight Duel. Harry and his friends are becoming more accustomed to their classes and the magical environment. However, Harry's relationship with Draco Malfoy, a Slytherin student, continues to be tense and antagonistic. During one of their flying lessons with Madame Hooch, the flying instructor, the students are introduced to broomsticks and the basics of flying. Harry is excited and nervous about the lesson. Unfortunately, Neville Longbottom, who is anxious and clumsy, loses control of his broom and falls, injuring himself in the process. Madame Hooch takes Neville to the hospital wing, leaving the class unsupervised. Seizing the opportunity, Malfoy picks up Neville's Remembrall, a glass ball used to help remember things which had fallen during the accident. He taunts Harry and the other Gryffindor by threatening to throw the Remembrall away. Furious, Harry demands that Malfoy return it. Malfoy challenges Harry, and in a moment of defiance, Harry takes off on his broom to retrieve the Remembrall. Harry's flying skills are natural and impressive. He quickly catches up with Malfoy and skillfully performs an aerial maneuver to snatch the Remembrall from him. His daring and agility on the broom are noticed by Professor McGonagall, who witnesses the entire incident from a window. Instead of reprimanding Harry, Professor McGonagall is impressed by his flying abilities. She takes Harry to meet Oliver Wood, the captain of the Gryffindor Quidditch team. Wood is thrilled to learn that Harry has such natural talent and immediately recruits him as the new seeker for the team. Harry is excited and honored to be part of the Quidditch team, though he keeps it a secret from his friends for the time being. One day, Harry receives a package during breakfast. To his delight, it contains a Nimbus 2000 broomstick, a top-of-the-line Quidditch broom. The package comes with a note from Professor McGonagall, informing Harry that he has been selected as the new seeker for the Gryffindor Quidditch team. This is a great honor, as first-year students are rarely allowed to join the Quidditch teams. Malfoy, angered by Harry's success and newfound popularity, challenges him to a duel. He suggests that they meet in the trophy room at midnight to settle their differences. Harry agrees, despite Ron's concerns about the consequences if they are caught. Hermione Granger, ever the rule follower, tries to dissuade them from going, but Harry and Ron are determined. At midnight, Harry and Ron set out for the trophy room, but Hermione catches up with them and tries to stop them from breaking the rules. Neville, who has forgotten the password to the Gryffindor common room and is stuck outside, joins the group. Despite Hermione's protests, the four of them proceed to the trophy room. When they arrive, they quickly realize that they have been set up. Malfoy and his accomplices, Crabbe and Goyle, are nowhere to be found. Instead, Argus Filch, the caretaker, is on patrol, searching for students out of bed. Panicking, the group runs through the castle, trying to avoid getting caught. In their attempt to escape, they stumble upon a forbidden corridor on the third floor, which Dumbledore had warned them to avoid. To their horror, they come face to face with a gigantic three-headed dog guarding a trapdoor. The students are petrified, but Hermione quickly notices that the dog is guarding something important. Barely escaping with their lives, the group returns to the Gryffindor common room, shaken but unharmed. Hermione scolds Harry and Ron for their recklessness, but Harry is now more curious than ever about what the three-headed dog is guarding. Harry is resolved to find out more about the mysterious trapdoor and the secrets it holds. Chapter 10: Halloween. The Gryffindor first years settle into their routine at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Harry is enjoying his new life and his classes, although he continues to struggle with potions due to Professor Snape's hostility. Harry's excitement grows as he prepares for his first Quidditch match. As the new seeker for the Gryffindor team, he practices tirelessly with his teammates. Oliver Wood, the team captain, trains Harry extensively, focusing on catching the golden snitch, which would instantly win the game for Gryffindor. Harry's natural talent on a broomstick and his determination make him a promising player. In addition to his Quidditch preparations, Harry continues to explore the castle with Ron. They are determined to uncover the secret behind the mysterious trapdoor guarded by the three-headed dog. They speculate about what could be hidden there and suspect that it is something extremely valuable and dangerous. As Halloween approaches, the school is abuzz with excitement. The Great Hall is decorated with floating pumpkins, and the Halloween feast promises to be a grand event. During Charms class, Professor Flitwick teaches the students the levitation charm, Wingardium Leviosa. Hermione, always eager to excel, masters the spell quickly and corrects Ron's pronunciation, which irritates him. The tension between Ron and Hermione reaches a peak when Ron, frustrated by Hermione's perfectionism, makes a thoughtless remark about her being a nightmare to deal with. Unbeknownst to Ron, Hermione overhears his comment and is deeply hurt. She skips the Halloween feast and hides in the girls' bathroom, crying. The Halloween feast begins with an abundance of delicious food and festive decorations. The students enjoy the celebration, but the festive atmosphere is abruptly interrupted when Professor Quirrell, the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, bursts into the Great Hall, panicked and disheveled. He announces that a troll has entered the dungeon, causing immediate chaos and fear among the students. Dumbledore quickly takes control of the situation, instructing the prefects to lead the students back to their common rooms. As the Gryffindor are being escorted away, Harry and Ron realize that Hermione does not know about the troll and is still in the bathroom. They decide to break away from the group and go to warn her. Harry and Ron navigate the castle's corridors, searching for Hermione. They eventually find the troll in the girls' bathroom, where it has already caused significant damage. The massive creature is filthy and foul-smelling, wielding a large club. Hermione is trapped, terrified, and unable to defend herself. In a moment of bravery, Harry and Ron spring into action to protect Hermione. Harry distracts the troll by throwing a tap at its head, while Ron uses the levitation charm, Wingardium Leviosa, to lift the troll's club and drop it on its head. The troll is knocked unconscious, and the three friends are safe. Moments later, Professors McGonagall, Snape, and Quirrell arrive at the scene. Professor McGonagall is furious with the trio for putting themselves in danger, but she is also impressed by their bravery. Hermione, grateful for Harry and Ron's rescue, takes the blame for the situation, claiming that she went looking for the troll on her own. This act of selflessness earns Gryffindor 5 points, and the trio is allowed to return to their common room. The incident with the troll marks a turning point in Harry, Ron, and Hermione's relationship. Despite their differences, they realize that they make a strong team and can rely on each other in difficult situations. The trio solidifies their friendship, united by the shared experience of facing danger together. Chapter 11, Quidditch. There's excitement as Harry's first Quidditch match is approaching. Harry has been practicing diligently with the Gryffindor Quidditch team under the guidance of their captain, Oliver Wood. The match is against Slytherin, and Gryffindor is eager to win. Harry receives additional support and encouragement from his friends, Ron and Hermione, as well as from the other Gryffindor students. Despite feeling nervous, Harry is determined to perform well and make a positive impact on the game. On the day of the match, the Gryffindor team gathers in the changing room. Wood gives them a motivating speech, emphasizing the importance of teamwork and strategy. Harry's nerves intensify, but he draws strength from the support of his teammates and friends. The match begins with great excitement as the players take to the sky on their broomsticks. Lee Jordan, a Gryffindor student, provides lively commentary on the game. The match is fast-paced and intense, with both teams displaying skill and determination. As the seeker for Gryffindor, Harry's primary goal is to catch the Golden Snitch, a small winged ball that is incredibly fast and elusive. Catching the snitch earns 150 points and ends the game, usually ensuring victory for the team that catches it. Early in the match, Harry's broomstick begins to behave erratically, bucking and jerking as if it is trying to throw him off. Harry struggles to maintain control, and it becomes clear that something is wrong. In the stands, Hermione notices that Professor Snape is staring intently at Harry and muttering under his breath. She suspects that Snape is using a spell to jinx Harry's broom. Determined to help Harry, Hermione sneaks over to where Snape is sitting and uses her wand to set fire to his robes, creating a distraction. The plan works, and Snape is forced to break his concentration to put out the fire. Harry's broom returns to normal, and he regains control. The match continues with high energy and fierce competition. Gryffindor and Slytherin are evenly matched, and the score remains close. Harry remains vigilant, scanning the field for any sign of the Golden Snitch. Finally, Harry spots the snitch near the ground and makes a daring dive to catch it. In a thrilling and dangerous maneuver, Harry reaches out and catches the snitch just inches from the ground, securing victory for Gryffindor. The crowd erupts in cheers, and Harry is celebrated as a hero. The Gryffindors celebrate their hard-fought victory. Harry's success as Seeker boosts his confidence and strengthens his bond with his friends and teammates. Chapter 12, The Mirror of Erist. As December approaches, Hogwarts is transformed into a winter wonderland with festive decorations, enchanted snow, and a joyful atmosphere. The Great Hall is adorned with 12 towering Christmas trees, icicles, and enchanted snowflakes. Students eagerly anticipate the holidays, and Harry is particularly excited as this will be his first Christmas away from the Dursleys. Harry and Ron decide to stay at Hogwarts for the Christmas holidays, along with a few other students, while Hermione and many others return home. The prospect of spending Christmas at Hogwarts is thrilling for Harry, who has never experienced a proper Christmas celebration before. One snowy evening, Harry and Ron decide to visit Hagrid. While there, they discuss the mysterious package that Hagrid retrieved from Gringotts and the trapdoor guarded by Fluffy. Hagrid tries to deflect their curiosity, but he inadvertently reveals the name Nicholas Flamel, sparking further intrigue. Christmas morning arrives, and Harry is delighted to find a pile of presents at the foot of his bed. He receives a wooden flute from Hagrid, a box of chocolate frogs from Hermione, a hand-knitted sweater from Mrs. Weasley, and a 50-pence piece from the Dursleys. However, the most intriguing gift is an invisibility cloak, accompanied by an anonymous note that reads, "Your father left this in my possession before he died. It is time it was returned to you." Use it well. Harry is thrilled with the invisibility cloak, which once belonged to his father, and realizes the endless possibilities it offers. He and Ron spend a magical Christmas day, enjoying a festive feast in the Great Hall and playing wizard chess. Later that night, Harry decides to test the invisibility cloak. He sneaks out of the Gryffindor common room and explores the castle, reveling in the freedom and secrecy the cloak provides. While wandering, Harry stumbles upon a locked room in a restricted section of the library. Hoping to find information about Nicholas Flamel, he opens a book, only to be greeted by a loud, magical scream. Panicking, Harry flees and takes refuge in a deserted classroom. Inside, he discovers an ornate mirror, the Mirror of Erased. When he looks into the mirror, Harry is astonished to see not just his reflection, but also the images of his parents, James and Lily Potter, standing beside him. Overwhelmed with emotion, Harry spends hours gazing at his parents, longing for the family he never knew. Harry returns to the mirror the next night, bringing Ron along to share the experience. However, when Ron looks into the mirror, he sees himself as head boy and Quidditch captain, holding the house cup. This reveals that the mirror shows not what is real, but the deepest desires of the heart. Despite Ron's warnings, Harry becomes increasingly obsessed with the mirror and returns night after night to see his parents. On one such visit, he encounters Professor Dumbledore, who gently explains the true nature of the Mirror of Erased. Dumbledore tells Harry that the mirror shows the deepest desires of the heart and cautions him against wasting away in front of it, dreaming of things that cannot be. He reveals that the mirror will be moved to a new location and advises Harry to focus on living his life in the present. Harry comes to terms with the loss of the mirror and the fleeting connection to his parents. He resolves to cherish the memories he has and to live his life fully at Hogwarts, embracing the friendships and adventures that lie ahead. Chapter 13. Nicholas Flamel. The trio continue their efforts to uncover the mystery of the elusive Nicholas Flamel. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are determined to find out who Flamel is and how he is connected to the secret that lies beneath the trapdoor guarded by Fluffy, the three-headed dog. Despite their best efforts to search the library and other sources, the trio has yet to find any information about Flamel. Hermione, ever resourceful, has been checking out and reading a multitude of books, but none have provided any leads. The mystery of Flamel remains unsolved, leaving the trio frustrated. In the midst of their investigations, Harry's duties as the seeker for the Gryffindor Quidditch team continue. Gryffindor is set to play against Hufflepuff, and the team is eager to secure another victory. During one of their practices, Harry's talent on the broom is evident, and Oliver Wood, the team captain, is confident in their chances. On the day of the match, the weather is terrible, with strong winds and heavy rain. As the game progresses, Harry is focused on finding the golden snitch amidst the storm. Suddenly, he spots the snitch and makes a daring dive to catch it. However, his success is overshadowed by the mysterious pain he feels in his scar. He looks up and notices Professor Snape, who is refereeing the match, watching him intently. Harry successfully catches the snitch, securing the win for Gryffindor. The team celebrates their victory, but Harry is preoccupied with the pain in his scar and Snape's unsettling presence. He shares his concerns with Ron and Hermione, who suggest that they visit Hagrid for some answers. The trio heads to Hagrid's hut, hoping to learn more about the mystery of Flamel and the significance of Harry's scar pain. Hagrid is pleased to see them and offers them tea and rock cakes. During their conversation, Hagrid lets slip that he knows about the Philosopher's Stone and its connection to Nicholas Flamel. Harry also learns that Dumbledore and Flamel are old friends. They discover that Nicholas Flamel is a famous alchemist who created the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary object that grants immortality and transforms any metal into pure gold. Armed with this new information, the trio realizes that the Philosopher's Stone is hidden at Hogwarts, and that Snape is likely after it to gain power. They conclude that the trapdoor guarded by Fluffy leads to the stone's hiding place. The trio's sense of urgency is heightened as they understand the gravity of the situation and the importance of protecting the Philosopher's Stone from falling into the wrong hands. They resolve to keep a close watch on the situation and to do everything they can to safeguard the stone. Chapter 14. Norbert the Norwegian Ridgeback. Harry, Ron, and Hermione continuing their studies and investigations at Hogwarts. They are more determined than ever to protect the Philosopher's Stone from falling into the wrong hands, especially Snape's. One evening, the trio visits Hagrid's hut for tea and a chat. Hagrid seems unusually excited and secretive about something. After some coaxing, Hagrid reveals that he has won a dragon egg in a game of cards with a mysterious stranger at the Hogshead pub. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are shocked, as it is illegal to own dragons in the wizarding world due to the danger they pose. Hagrid shows them the dragon egg, which is nestled in the fire to keep warm. He eagerly anticipates its hatching and talks about how he has always wanted a dragon. Although the trio is concerned, they can't help but be intrigued by the prospect of seeing a dragon hatch. The dragon egg begins to crack. The baby dragon, which Hagrid names Norbert, emerges. Norbert is a Norwegian ridgeback, a rare and dangerous breed. Hagrid is overjoyed and immediately begins caring for Norbert, despite the challenges that come with raising a dragon. As Norbert grows, it becomes increasingly difficult to keep him hidden. Dragons require a lot of care and attention, and Norbert is no exception. Hagrid's hut is filled with smoke and smells from the dragon. It becomes clear that Norbert cannot stay there much longer without attracting unwanted attention. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are worried about the consequences of Hagrid keeping a dragon. They know that if Norbert is discovered, Hagrid could get into serious trouble. They decide to come up with a plan to help Hagrid get rid of Norbert before it's too late. Ron writes to his older brother, Charlie, who works with dragons in Romania. Charlie agrees to take Norbert and provide a safe home for him. He arranges for some of his friends to come and collect the dragon. On the night of the planned handover, Harry and Hermione, as Ron is in the hospital wing recovering from a dragon bite, sneak Norbert up to the top of the astronomy tower where Charlie's friends will meet them. They use Harry's invisibility cloak to avoid detection. The handover goes smoothly, and Charlie's friends take Norbert away, much to Hagrid's sadness but relief. However, in their excitement and relief, Harry and Hermione forget to put the invisibility cloak back on and are caught by Filch, the castle caretaker, as they make their way back to the common room. This leads to their being punished along with Draco Malfoy, who had tried to catch them in the act but ended up getting caught himself. Harry and Hermione, reflecting on the night's events and the realization that their actions, while well-intentioned, often lead to unintended consequences. They are determined to stay out of trouble and focus on their mission to protect the Philosopher's Stone. Chapter 15: The Forbidden Forest. The trio has to deal with the aftermath of the incident involving Norbert, the Norwegian ridgeback. Harry, Hermione, Neville, and Draco Malfoy are all caught out of bed and are punished severely. As a consequence, each of them loses 50 points for their house, which significantly impacts the standings for the House Cup. The students are devastated by the loss of points, especially Harry and Hermione, who feel the weight of their housemates' disappointment. Gryffindor, which had been leading the House Cup standings, now falls to the bottom. The students blame Harry, Hermione, and Neville for their carelessness, and the trio becomes social pariahs among their peers. Their punishment for being out of bed after hours is detention. Filch, the caretaker, takes them to Professor McGonagall, who informs them that their detention will be served with Hagrid in the Forbidden Forest. The students are filled with apprehension, as the Forbidden Forest is known to be a dangerous place filled with magical creatures and unknown perils. On the night of their detention, Harry, Hermione, Neville, and Draco meet Hagrid at the edge of the forest. Filch delivers them to Hagrid and warns them of the dangers they may face. Hagrid explains that their task for the night is to investigate the recent killings of unicorns in the forest. The group is to search for the wounded unicorn and assist Hagrid in finding out what is harming the creatures. Hagrid splits the group into pairs. Harry and Hermione will go with Hagrid, while Draco and Neville will go with Fong, Hagrid's loyal but cowardly boarhound. They each take a lantern and venture into the dark and foreboding forest. As Harry, Hermione, and Hagrid make their way through the forest, they come across a silvery substance on the ground, which Hagrid identifies as unicorn blood. They follow the trail deeper into the forest. Meanwhile, Draco and Neville, who are both nervous and uneasy, encounter similar signs of the injured unicorn. At one point, Hagrid and his group hear a scream, and they rush to find Draco and Neville. Draco had been frightened by something he saw and scared Neville in the process. Hagrid decides to rearrange the groups to prevent further incidents. He sends Harry and Draco together with Fong, while he takes Neville and Hermione. As Harry and Draco continue their search, they stumble upon the wounded unicorn lying on the ground, its body shining with an ethereal glow. Next to the unicorn is a hooded figure, crouched and drinking its blood. The sight is horrifying, and Harry feels a sharp pain in his scar. The hooded figure notices Harry and Draco and starts to move toward them. Draco screams and runs away, but Harry is paralyzed with fear. Just as the figure is about to reach him, a centaur named Firenze appears and drives the figure away. Firenze places Harry on his back and carries him to safety. Firenze explains to Harry that the hooded figure was Voldemort, who is using the unicorn blood to sustain himself. He warns Harry that Voldemort is seeking the Philosopher's Stone to regain his full strength and immortality. Firenze shares the centaur's belief that the stars have foretold a difficult path ahead for Harry, but encourages him to be brave and strong. Back at the edge of the forest, Hagrid, Hermione, and Neville are relieved to find Harry safe. The group returns to the castle, and Harry reflects on the night's events and the growing danger posed by Voldemort. Chapter 16. Through the Trapdoor. Harry, Hermione, and Ron are more determined than ever to protect the Philosopher's Stone from Voldemort. They now know that Voldemort is seeking the stone to regain his full strength and immortality, and they are determined to prevent this at all costs. Their vigilance is heightened when they discover that Professor Dumbledore has been called away from Hogwarts on urgent business, leaving the school vulnerable. Harry is convinced that Snape, whom he still suspects of being in league with Voldemort, will make his move to steal the stone in Dumbledore's absence. The trio decides to take matters into their own hands. They plan to retrieve the Philosopher's Stone before Snape can get to it. They know that the stone is hidden beneath the trapdoor guarded by Fluffy, the three-headed dog, and that they will need to overcome a series of magical challenges to reach it. On the night of their planned mission, they use Harry's invisibility cloak to sneak out of the Gryffindor common room. Along the way, they encounter Neville, who tries to stop them, fearing they will get into more trouble and lose more points for Gryffindor. Hermione uses a petrifying spell to temporarily immobilize Neville, ensuring he won't interfere with their plans. The trio reaches the third-floor corridor and approaches Fluffy. Harry, remembering Hagrid's advice, plays a flute given to him by Hagrid to lull Fluffy to sleep. Once the giant dog is asleep, they carefully open the trapdoor and descend into the darkness below. The first challenge they encounter is a deadly plant called Devil's Snare, which begins to entangle them with its constricting vines. Hermione, knowledgeable about magical plants, realizes that Devil's Snare dislikes light and heat. She uses the Lumos Solum spell to create bright light, causing the plant to release them. The next chamber contains a room filled with winged keys. They need to catch the correct key to unlock the door to the next challenge. Harry, with his seeker skills, identifies the right key, a silver one with crumpled wings, and skillfully catches it, allowing them to proceed. In the following chamber, they find a large, life-size chessboard. To move forward, they must play and win a dangerous game of wizard's chess. Ron, who is adept at chess, takes the lead in this challenge, directing the pieces and sacrificing himself as a knight to ensure victory. His strategic sacrifice allows Harry and Hermione to checkmate the opposing king and win the game. With Ron injured and unable to continue, Harry and Hermione press on. They enter a room with a table containing 7 differently shaped bottles. A riddle, provided by Professor Snape, explains that they must choose the correct potion to safely proceed. Hermione's logical mind helps her solve the riddle, identifying the correct potion that will allow Harry to move forward while she stays behind. Harry, now alone, enters the final chamber and finds Professor Quirrell, not Snape, waiting for him. Chapter 17. The Man with Two Faces. To Harry's shock, he learns that Quirrell has been serving Voldemort all along. Quirrell reveals that he has been trying to steal the stone for his master, and that it was he, not Snape, who jinxed Harry's broom during the Quidditch match. In a dramatic confrontation, Quirrell explains that Voldemort is possessing his body and is determined to get the Philosopher's Stone. Quirrell uses the Mirror of Erist, which has been moved to this final chamber, to try to find the stone. However, it is Harry who retrieves the stone from the mirror, as he desires only to find it but not use it. Voldemort, through Quirrell, orders him to seize the stone from Harry. As Quirrell attempts to do so, he discovers that he cannot touch Harry without experiencing immense pain. Harry's mother's sacrificial protection still resides in his blood, causing Quirrell to burn upon contact. Despite the pain, Quirrell continues his assault, but Harry bravely fights back. The intense struggle leads to Harry losing consciousness as he feels Voldemort's presence fading away. Harry wakes up in a hospital wing at Hogwarts. He is disoriented and confused, but relieved to find himself safe. He is soon greeted by Professor Dumbledore, who explains what happened after Harry lost consciousness. Dumbledore informs Harry that he arrived just in time to save him from Professor Quirrell and Voldemort. Quirrell was attempting to take the Philosopher's Stone from Harry, but due to the protection left by Harry's mother's sacrifice, Quirrell was unable to touch Harry without experiencing immense pain. This protection ultimately led to Quirrell's demise when he tried to seize the stone. Voldemort, in his weakened form, fled the scene, leaving Quirrell to die. Dumbledore reveals that the Philosopher's Stone has been destroyed by its creator, Nicholas Flamel, and his wife Perenelle. Although this means that the Flamels will no longer be immortal, they have lived long and full lives and are content with their decision. By destroying the stone, they have ensured that it cannot be used by anyone with malicious intent. Harry is curious about the mirror he used to retrieve the stone and asks Dumbledore about it. Dumbledore explains that the Mirror of Erised shows the deepest desires of one's heart. It was cleverly enchanted to give the stone only to someone who wanted to find it but not use it. Harry, with his pure intentions, was able to retrieve the stone because he had no desire to use it for personal gain. During their conversation, Harry also inquires about the painful burning sensation in his scar whenever Voldemort is near. Dumbledore explains that the pain is a warning of the connection between Harry and Voldemort, a connection forged on the night Voldemort attempted to kill him. The scar serves as a reminder of that fateful night and the ongoing threat that Voldemort poses. Harry spends a few more days recovering in a hospital wing, where he is visited by his friends Ron, Hermione, and Hagrid. They are overjoyed to see him awake and well. Hagrid is particularly emotional and apologizes to Harry for inadvertently revealing the secret of Fluffy, which set off the chain of events leading to the final confrontation. Before leaving the hospital wing, Hagrid gives Harry a photo album filled with pictures of his parents, James and Lily Potter. The album is a touching gift that allows Harry to see his parents and remember them, even though he never had the chance to know them. As the school year comes to an end, the students gather in the Great Hall for the end-of-year feast. The hall is decorated with the colors of Slytherin, who are expected to win the House Cup. However, Dumbledore has a few last-minute announcements that change the outcome. Dumbledore awards points to Harry, Hermione, Ron, and Neville for their bravery and contributions in protecting the Philosopher's Stone. Harry and Hermione each receive 50 points for their courage and intellect, while Ron receives 50 points for his strategic sacrifice in the game of wizard's chess. Neville receives 10 points for his bravery in standing up to his friends, pushing Gryffindor ahead of Slytherin and securing the House Cup for Gryffindor. The Great Hall erupts in cheers as Gryffindor celebrates their victory. The camaraderie and joy among the students highlight the importance of friendship, bravery, and doing what is right. As the term ends, Harry returns to the Dursleys for the summer, but with a newfound sense of belonging and purpose. He leaves Hogwarts knowing that he has true friends, a place where he belongs, and a future filled with possibilities. That marks the end of this book's summary. This has been a Pop Magic production. If you enjoyed this summary and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more magical book summaries. See you next time. Until then, goodbye.